Welcome everybody once again to the discussion. After a widening gap, of course, for which I feel sorry. Having said that, let us continue that discussion, um, which we discussed last, and it was about significance of sacrifice, the significance of yajna. That in English we call it sacrifice. So does Sri Aurobindo. So the significance of sacrifice. Already we have come to that point in the last discussion that work itself is an attachment. That part we have already discussed. Work itself is an attachment. And the other thing is, without work, we can't remain on this world or in this world. Without work, one cannot just live his life. He or she has to do some work. So work is a must. We can't renounce work, however hard we may try. And the other thing is, abstention from work also doesn't serve our purpose. Yes, naiskarmya. Naiskarmya means a state of worklessness. Naiskarmya, a state of worklessness. But worklessness, there or naiskarmya, it cannot be achieved either by abstention or by renouncing works. Abstention from works and renunciation of works, neither of these two serves the purpose, and that purpose is naiskarmya. That's why Sri Krishna says, when you have to work, you can't put aside the work, the action. Then the direction of work should be changed. Yes, you have to work. But through works, naiskarmya can also be achieved. And when this can be done? When work is done as a sacrifice. Work is done as a sacrifice. I think we have discussed in the last, when we came to discuss about the Bhagabadgita, the significance of sacrifice. Well, if that is so, then this significance of yajna is twofold. In the first, this has already been, we have also discussed that yajna can be done as a ritual. And in two passages, Sri Krishna has explained Arjuna the significance of sacrifice. The first part is in chapter 3. I think we have to some extent discussed that. And the other passage is in chapter 4, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, in the fourth chapter, he has at length dealt with this yajna again. So in the last discussion, we have come to the point that yes, Yajna Pradapati has created all these creatures out of Yajna, and the entire creation is nothing but a sacrifice, is Yajna, a sacrifice. Because when he wanted to be many, then it was a sacrifice in his part. He got involved in the crude matter. Then all these things were created. Ekasya Bahushyami, that part is there. And Sri Krishna also has explained that. And to some extent, that yajna, sometimes those people who are experts on the Bhagavad Gita, or those who are continually giving discourses, Sometimes they also explain this way that this yajna is something like Vedic rituals. But it is not so. But Bhagavad Gita cannot narrow itself down to only these Vedic rituals. Those who believe in Karmakanda side of the Vedas, only rituals. This, I mean, woods are put, then uh, those are put into fire, then the butter is poured, mantras are being chanted. This is not yajna. It has a larger connotation. It has a larger implication. To some extent, in chapter 3 also, Sri Krishna has told that. But elaborately, he has done it in chapter 4. The chapter 3, whatever he has told about Yajna, we have already discussed that. But in chapter 4, we have come across the fact that in two passages, we can say passages, and each passage consists of some verses, some slokas. And chapter 3 about Yajna, many things Sri Krishna has told, and we have discussed that. And in chapter 4 also, um, about this Yajna, Sri Krishna has at length explained to Arjuna. So, if we can go through the 22nd sloka, 22nd verse of chapter 4, Jadrutha Labha Santushto, Dandadito Vivachara, Shama Siddha Vasiddhaucha, Krutvapi cha Nivadhyate. And Sri Krishna says in that sloka, a person, if he is satisfied with whatever gain comes to him, and who has passed the dualities, good, bad, good, evil, all these things, these dualities who have crossed over this, is jealous of none, is equal in failure and success. If he fails, his mental state must be with some sort of balancing nature. So equal in failure and success, he is not bound even when he acts. So one must act, that we have discussed. One cannot remain without acting, doing, or performing this action. If that is so, if somebody does the work in this state of mind, with this attitude, then he is not bound with the acts. Beyond the dualities, he must be beyond the dualities. If failure and success, whatever comes in his life, he maintains a perfect equanimity. This man, and he is jealous of none, whether somebody achieved something more than what I achieved. That jealousy, that envy should not come to me. In this state, a person is not bound with the karma. And immediately in the 23rd sloka he says, Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita cetasa jajñat charatah karma samagram praviliyate. Jajñaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. And he says, when a man is liberated, free from attachment in everything, in his mind, in his heart, in his spirit, and he has self-knowledge and does works as sacrifice, then all his work is dissolved. He is not bound by any, fruits of the work or the work itself. He is free, liberated, not bound by his mind, not bound by his heart, not bound by his spirit. He is beyond all these things. And whatever he does, only he does for karma. I am very sorry. Does it for jagya, for sacrifice only, nothing else. So he is not bound. So jagyaya charatah karma samagrang praviliyate. Whatever work he does, those works are dissolved. So a state of naiskharmya comes at the time. a state of naiskambhya comes at the time. Then here, what is Yajna after all? Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagni, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. Beautiful slogan. Oh Arjuna, he says, Sri Krishna says, what do you think about this Yajna? If the entire thing is called a sacrifice or a Yajna, who is doing this? Suppose we say, we are doing Yajna, and through Yajna we are worshipping somebody, and then this blessings of those gods come to us. No. He says, this Brahmarpanam, Brahma is the giving. Whatever we give, it is Brahma itself. Brahman is the food offering. What we offer is Brahma. And who offers is also Brahma. And the fire is Brahmic fire. So, Brahma is that which is to be attained by Samadhi in Brahma action. So, Brahma Havi, Brahmar Padang, what we offer is Brahma. Brahma Havi, the fire is Brahma. Brahmagni, this fire is Brahma. Then Brahmana Hutam, whoever pours ghee, he is also Brahma. So, Brahmena Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So, everywhere is Brahma. Brahma is the Bhokta, Brahma is the Karta. He is the doer and he is the Lord of the sacrifice. So, whatever fire we get, it is Brahma is there in him. So, this Yajna, which we call sacrifice, in a way, is done by him. He is within us. We say we are doing it. No, he is doing it. We must think that way. We must think in that way. If that type of thought comes to us, then something like karma or I am doing some karma, this sense will not be there. Will never be there rather. So the fire is Brahma. Whatever we give is Brahma. And whatever is offered to this Yajna is Brahma. And whoever is doing it is Brahma. And whoever gets it is Brahma. Then he says, Daiva seva pare yajnam yoginah pratyupasate brahma gnava pare yajnam yajnanaivo pajuhvati. So some yogis follow after the sacrifice which is of the gods. Others offer the sacrifice by sacrifice itself into the Brahma fire. So many types of yogis are there. So that doesn't matter. So by this way, Yajna should be done. This is the right way of doing a Yajna. So in consequent or subsequent shlokas, the same thing Sri Krishna says, Srutradini indriyanyasne sanjamagni sujuhvati sabdadin Vishayananya Indriyagni Sujuhvati. So some offer hearing and some of senses into the fires of control. Others offer sound and the other objects of sense into the fires of sense. So many types of the yajnas are there. Some sacrifice their indriyas, the senses. Some they are hearing. And many things are there. So next, particularly the subsequent shloka tells us about how many types of yajnas are there, how many types of sacrifice are there. Dravya yajnas, tapo yajnas, yoga yajnas tatha pare, swadhyaya jnana yajnas jatayah sansita vrataha. Beautiful. So this is the offering of the striver after perfection. Maybe material or physical. Dravya yajna. Suppose we are offering something material. Dravya. Dravya means something material. Something physical. So that is dravya yajna. While doing yajna or performing sacrifice, if the offerings are material and physical, it is called dravya yajna. because that's what happens. Sometimes the Vedic sages were doing so, and nowadays also, if some rituals are done, some offerings are made, and if those offerings are of material or physical nature, we can call it Dravya Jagya. Then, like that, consecrated in worship by the devotees to his deity, or it may be the austerity of his self discipline and energy of his soul directed to some high aim, Tapojagya. Some austerity somebody is adhering to, or some austerity somebody is following. If he offers that, it is Tapojagya. Tapas means this, austerity. The rules and regulations I follow after taking sannyasa. If somebody offers this in Jagya, he is doing Tapojagya. Then the other thing is, um, or it may be some form of yoga, Raja Yoga, control of mind. Then Hatha Yoga, control of the body. You're controlling your breathing exercises. If somebody offers this, it can be Yoga Jagya. That Jagya, that sacrifice can be called Yoga Jagya. And then, or it may be the offering of reading and knowledge, that is Jnana Jagya. So, four types of Jagyas or four types of sacrifices. The Lord Sri Krishna explains here: Dravya Jagya, Tapo Jagya, Yoga Jagya, and Jnana Jagya. Dravya Jagya, offering something physical or material. Then Tapo Jagya, one offers his austerity, tapas, or whatever energy he has gained by following this austerity. Somebody offers that is Tapo Jagya. And somebody offers his yoga, this pranayama and other things, Raja Yoga or Hatha Yoga or whatever, that is Yoga Jagya. And somebody by offering his reading and knowledge or whatever, that is Jnana Jagya. Jnana Jagya. Offering, sometimes we misunderstand about offering. Suppose we give something to the higher deities or the God himself. It is not that we are bereft of everything what we give. If we offer something to God, it is never lost. That must be born in our mind. It is never lost. It is that during the beginning of our discussion, we have discussed that yajna is nothing but an interaction between the man and the gods. It is an interaction. And through this, man interacts. We give something and they give something. So whatever we give, it is never lost. It never deserts us. Rather, it is more purified, it is more magnified, and the same thing comes back to us. More magnified, more purified. All these things, this must be born in our mind. So these four types of Jagya, if somebody wants some material gain, he can offer the material or physical things. So these four types of Jagyas Sri Krishna speaks of to Arjuna. Apane juvati pranam pranopanam tatha pare pranapana gati ruddhva pranayama parayana. So others again who are devoted to controlling the breath, having restrained the prana. Prana means the incoming breath. Then and apana, the outgoing breath. The incoming breath is prana, the outgoing breath is apana. That also can be controlled. Some also do that. So that may be one type of yajna also. So others, having regulated the food, poor are sacrificed their life breaths into life breaths. All these are knowers of sacrifice, and by sacrifice have destroyed their sins. So whatever yajna you do, by this, the sins are destroyed. If you do something wrong, if we commit something, some sin, then those are dissolved. If we realize that, and then we perform this yajna, perform not in physical sense. It is something offering, whatever we have, we have to offer. And then these are the several ways um, of yajnas. And then the other thing also he says, Jagyasisto mruta bhujo janti brahma sanatanam nayang lokastya jagyasya putanyaha kuru sattama. They who enjoy the nectar of immortality, left over from sacrifice, attend to the eternal Brahma. This world is not for him who does not sacrifice. How then any other world? The man who doesn't do any sacrifice, he cannot enjoy his life in this earth. That means this world is not his. He cannot literally belong to this world. Then what to speak of the other worlds? He will go somewhere else, getting moksha, nirvana, or any other thing. That is just impossible. And saying this, then Sri Krishna says, Evam bahuvidha jagya bitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhis tanvasang nevam gyatva vimukhyate. So many types of dagyas, this mouth of the Brahman. So many sages have said this. So many types of jagyas are there. Sreyan, Dravya Mayad, Jnana Jagya Parantapa, Sarvam Karma Akhilam Partho, Jnane Parishamapyate. Jnane Parishamapyate. Sarvam Karma Akhilam Partho, Jnane Parishamapyate. He says, to sacrifice of knowledge, Jnana Jagya is the best of all. There are many Jagyas, Dravya Jagya, Tapa Jagya, Yoga Jagya and Jnana Jagya, but Jnana Jagya is the best. So many yajnas could be performed, but this sacrifice of knowledge, Jnana Jagya, is the best. Jnana Jagya means self-knowledge. Who am I? Who is there with me? And what is that I am doing here? And how come I will reach there? This self-knowledge, if somebody has self-knowledge, and this knowledge, with this knowledge he performs sacrifice or does Jagya, perhaps that is the best. So that's what, in a nutshell, there are many things in the Bhagavad Gita. We can come across those if we go through the details. But this is more or less the gist so far as the significance of sacrifice is concerned. So far, so good. And we will be continuing this discussion further. Thank you so much.